Welcome, traveler time. You've entered a realm where kings rise, empires fall, and every crown carries a curse. Today, we journey through the life of one of history's most fascinating monarchs, where love, power, and destiny intertwine. In the glittering halls of Versailles, beneath chandeliers of gold and perfume thick as honey, a queen once ruled hearts and fashion. But behind her powdered smile lay a storm that would swallow a kingdom whole. This is the story of the Marie Antoinette downfall, a tale not of one woman's vanity, but of a nation's vengeance. How did the daughter of an empire become the symbol of corruption? How did the cheers of her coronation turn into the chants of her execution? Tonight, we descend into the court of illusions, where betrayal wore silk and the revolution was born. She was born an Archduchess of Austria in 1755, the 15th child of Empress Maria Theresa. A pawn of diplomacy, she was married at 14 to the Dauphin of France, Louis Auguste, a union meant to seal peace between two great dynasties. But the young girl from Vienna entered a world where every gesture was a performance, and every glance a judgment. Versailles was not a palace. It was a theater of power, envy, and deceit. She learned quickly. Charm was her armor, with blue eyes that could disarm enemies and a laugh that silenced rooms. Marie Antoinette became the darling of the court. The people adored her beauty, the nobles envied her youth, and the king, awkward and insecure, adored her from afar. But behind the lace and laughter, something dark stirred. The people whispered, "She spends too much. She cares too little. She is Austrian, not French." And so began the quiet corrosion of her crown. As Louis ascended the throne in 1774, Marie Antoinette became queen at 19, young, radiant, and disastrously unprepared for the burden of France. The country was rotting beneath the surface. Famine, debt, and the shadows of the Enlightenment. The nobles clung to privilege, the people starved, and the crown grew blind. In the salons of Paris, philosophers spoke of liberty. In the streets, mothers wept for bread. And in the palace of Versailles, the queen danced. Her world was one of illusion, masked balls, gambling, extravagant gowns. Each night, she escaped the heavy air of politics of the silk-draped fantasy of her private retreat, the Petit Trianon, where she played at being a shepherdess, free from duty and decorum. To her, it was innocence. To France, it was insult. Pamphlets circulated. The Austrian whore, Madame Deficit. Cartoonists drew her as a serpent, a temptress, a traitor. Every rumor became truth. Every lie became legend. She was blamed for the empty treasury, though she spent less than many ministers. She was accused of infidelity, though her heart's desires remain a mystery lost to time. And then came the scandal that shattered her, the affair of the diamond necklace. A plot she never conceived, a necklace she never saw. Yet the people saw enough. In the smoky cafes of Paris, her name was spat like venom. While France starves, they said, the queen demands diamonds. The fall of Marie Antoinette had begun. As revolution stirred, her enemies closed in. The storming of the Bastille in 1789 was more than rebellion. It was a reckoning. The queen's name echoed through the mob like a curse. "Down with the Austrian," they cried. The court trembled, yet she remained defiant. To some, she was a villain. To others, a martyr of her own pride. She stood beside her husband as France tore itself apart. While Louis hesitated, she schemed. While ministers fled, she fought. In candlelit chambers, she penned letters to Austria, pleading for armies to rescue the monarchy. To the revolutionaries, this was treason. The Marie Antoinette downfall became inevitable, a tragedy written in silence and silk. By 1791, the royal family attempted escape, the flight to Varennes. Disguised as servants, they fled Paris by night, their carriage rattling over cobblestones toward the border. But fate caught them in a small town, their cover blown. The people recognized the queen's face, printed on coins, painted in every salon. She was brought back under guard, jeered at by the same people who once bowed before her. From that night, the crown of France was nothing but a ghost. In the months that followed, power slipped like sand. The monarchy fell. The king was tried, convicted, and executed. The blade of the guillotine met the neck of Louis XVI on a cold January morning. As the crowd roared, Marie Antoinette's world shattered. Yet she did not weep. Those who saw her in the temple prison spoke of calm, of a queen who had become a ghost of dignity. But the hatred outside her cell had grown monstrous. To the revolution, she was not a woman. She was a symbol of greed, corruption, and betrayal. They called her the widow Capet. They said she conspired with enemies, that she bathed in luxury while children died. None of it mattered. The verdict was already written. Her trial was a spectacle, a parade of accusations, some absurd, some cruel. She was accused of everything from treason to incest, her words twisted by men who wanted blood, not truth. Through it all, she stood unbroken. When the prosecutor insulted her as a mother, she rose and said quietly, "If I have not answered, it is because nature itself refuses to respond to such a charge." Even her enemies fell silent. On October 16th, 1793, Marie Antoinette was led to the guillotine. Her hair, once powdered white, had turned silver. Her gown was simple. No jewels, no crown, only the weight of history. The crowd jeered as the cart rolled through Paris. Some threw stones, others wept. The queen bowed her head, but did not beg. As she climbed the scaffold, she accidentally stepped on the executioner's foot and whispered, "Pardon me, sir. I did not do it on purpose." Those were her final words. The blade fell. The crowd roared. And with it, centuries of monarchy came to an end. But history, like fire, does not die. It smolders. Centuries later, the name Marie Antoinette still echoes with contradiction. Was she a monster of privilege or a victim of propaganda? A vain queen or a scapegoat of revolution? Perhaps she was both, a woman caught between worlds, crushed beneath the machinery of politics and myth. The revolution devoured its queen, but also its soul. For even in death, she remains what France could never bury, the reflection of its own tragedy. Centuries later, the echoes of Marie Antoinette's downfall still haunt the ruins of history. If stories like this fascinate you, don't forget to like and subscribe. More untold tales of history await you.